So you guys sick of me yet? You should be. But you have to understand I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I don't care that my channel's not entertaining anymore. The fact is, it used to be entertaining, at least periodically, and now it's not gonna be. That's the way it goes. Everything else from the past is still out there, you know. I'm not doing good. If my Omar had to die, I wish he had died a few months ago. No, I'm not gonna sit here and be all Pollyanna and, oh, I had got a few extra months with him. No. No. This is fucking hell, okay? This is just like, if he had died a few months ago, remember when I was positive he was gonna? I was either positive he was gonna die, he was about to die, and then when he didn't, I still thought something was seriously wrong with him, because how can there not be if you can't rouse him, you can't, he's like a rag doll. I figured I'd have to put him to sleep anyway. And he snaps out of it, and then a few months later drops dead in front of me for after I've nursed him back to health, after he's put on more than a couple of pounds, after I thought, you know, I was gonna have him for a while longer, and he just drops dead, like, and I don't know if it's that fucking soft bed that I wish I'd never gotten, or wish I'd never put in, or wish I didn't have to go to the mailbox, or I wish I... If he had died a few months ago, I'd still be grieving, but I at least would be like, okay, well, he died because he got weak when he wasn't eating enough. You know, you just had him at the vets, and she put him on that convenient infection, whatever, and that did it. This is hell. And I don't know how best to explain it, and except you got to be really deep to understand. I truly believe that it's different, even though the person or the animal is still gone. I believe it's different when it's unexpected, 100%, versus when you're ready for it, when you know, like in Art of Racing in the Rain that I just rewatched. They were prepared. He was prepared for the love of his life, his wife, and his little girl was prepared for her mom to die. Because they knew it was going to happen. But sudden, not only sudden, but right in frickin' front of me. No, I'm not doing good. It's different. And you can say, well, how do you know it's different? You've never experienced it before. You're right. You're right. You can say that and you're free to have your opinion. But I know I wouldn't be feeling like this if Homer had just died a few months ago. Instead of me being lulled into thinking that, you know, he's you know. And I had plans to help him even more. And if that doesn't work, I was preparing myself to euthanize him. I was just trying to prepare myself. No, if I've never experienced this before, then you could say, well, how can you say that? All right, I can't say it across the board. Maybe it's no different. The person or animal is still gone. I just know that if Omer had died a few months ago, it would have been different than how I'm feeling now. I know me, and I know I would still be heartbroken. I'd still be grieving. But I wouldn't be like, what the fuck? You see? I would have something to blame it on. I wouldn't be like, what the fuck? And I also wouldn't have been lulled into think. So I got a few extra months with him, and so we could have, more trips to the vets, and him, just it only took that one time. Yeah, I remember he's now in my room, so I don't have to worry about that. But the thing with him injuring himself, not in a serious manner, but still, I needed to make sure I nipped that in the bud, okay? But I have to leave the house sometimes, and it could happen. That's why I got that fucking high potency him. And if Omar's not obsessed about standing up, he can sleep for a long time. The night before he darks dead in front of me, he slept literally 7 hours in my bed. 6 beside me, and then I woke up before he did. No one expected that. He wasn't on any hemp or high potency, full spectrum CBD oil or anything. But obviously he would have never slept that long if he wasn't at peace. I just feel that it is different. Expecting either a person you love or an animal you love to die and being prepared versus just sudden. I'm not saying that the grief is any less. Of course it's not. I'm just saying me. I'm really, really, really affected by this now. It was so unexpected, so sudden, traumatic galore. It is really, really fucking me up. I don't want you to think that I'm lessening the pain and the grief of someone who, you know, who knows and has prepared themselves that their beloved person in their lives or their beloved pet is going to die, and there's nothing's going to change that. I'm not saying that the grief and the heartbreak and the pain and the anger or anything else you think of is any less. I'm saying that it's when it's so unfucking believably unexpected, it is different. I felt like I just, so I got a few extra months with him for what? You know? For this? For me to not know if it was something that was preventable. That it had something to do with that goddamn fucking soft bed that I'm not, when I've had him in it before and left him alone for hours. I mean, but it just, you get what I'm saying? site where people are feeling the same way. Every 1,000 comments out there, I don't know how to read them all, but it's like, and there are people that want answers. There are people who have money who pay for an autopsy, but you know what? Other people are like, you can get an autopsy and then it's probably not going to tell you anything. But they just want answers. They want that if they want to pay like $1,700, they have the money. They want peace of mind, or they want to know why their dog just suddenly dropped dead. So I'm not alone. And you're not gonna know. But for me, it goes so deep. It's like unfucking believable to me. So unexpected, and also in front of me. It's so traumatic. So traumatic. More traumatic than if I had just found him dying in his sleep or something. That's what Selena wrote. Hopefully he went in his sleep. Because my mom had left out the part, or I had, if I had left Selena no part because I was traumatized and heartbroken and grieving and whatever, but no, he didn't die in his sleep. He was crying one moment and dead the fucking next. I was standing right beside him, crying one moment, dead the next. Because as soon as he started crying, I was reached down to comfort him, and then I screamed. Okay? I fucking screamed. My mom was right there. So no, I'm not gonna sit here and think, oh well, I'm grateful I got a few extra months with him now. It would have been much better for me, for him, for everything if he had just died when I thought he was gonna die a few months ago. But he didn't. And then when I'm not expecting it in a million years, unfucking believable. It can happen to a person. Hey. I just think it's different. I think when it's totally 100% unexpected versus when you've prepared for it. This couldn't have been more unexpected. I'm in a state of fucking shock. Prolonged state of fucking shock. And it's messing me up badly because I'm obviously going to focus on my mom, okay? Of course, any of you with half a brain know that that's what's going on. This isn't just about my baby. I can't complain. I had 16 years with him, bro. He died in front of me, unexpectedly. That equals trauma. I'm in a state of shock. I'm in a state of shock. and I'm totally just focused on my mama, you know. And that's what's going on with me. This isn't just regular grief and heartbreak like it would have been if he had died a few months ago. Where I was telling you I created all those videos and I was prepared, and you know, the whole way this went down. Not good. Not good. So I didn't have to worry about Vitacost. I didn't even receive any note about we've done investigating, whatever. Maybe they didn't even bother. Maybe they just looked and saw, yeah, they can add up the stuff quick, and I'm sure they looked and saw, yeah, it should have been way more than 29 pounds with everything that was supposed to be in there. And they know I called that person and talked a long time, and they got all the notes. Um, I just got a thing saying they're shipping out the pumpkin seeds and the walnuts. If they didn't investigate and I was wrong about the walnuts, it's not my problem, because I was totally upfront honest and saying under normal circumstances I would know 100% that I was missing the walnuts, because them only weighing 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds for 10 packages, 5.5 ounces each of Woodstock organic walnuts. And the box, I'm not knowing how much the damn box weighs. Like I was telling Joe, who I talked to today for 222 minutes. He is having problems with his neighbor. His weird neighbor. Like you just can't win, huh? Everyone else is nice, but it's always that one, you know. He's living. I already told you he's living in like a rural area, okay? He's thinking he's got a garden, he's got acres of land now. He's thinking of getting chickens. The moment I had moved with him, we would have had Jenny the donkey, chickens, and a guard dog. Joe wanted an Irish Setter. He would never want a pet on his own, but you know. So can you imagine somebody? Joe's new to one of those gigantic mowers that he paid like almost 5,000 for, the ride-on ones, right? This guy comes over to Joe a year ago, mind you, and says, you know, you're getting grass in the road. And Joe apologizes, like, yeah, I'm new to this, whatever. Like, and Joe's going to sweep it up. He's not going to leave it in the road. And the guy was just, like all huffy and whatever. And it's like, well, you seem like you should know better than to do. It's just, he was ridiculous. Joe said he's probably kind of, you know, not too bright. So, flash forward. It's a whole year later. The guy has not said one word to Joe in a year, right? He decides to come over and apologize. Joe knows it's not sincere, and Joe's trying to like wondering what's he's even doing coming a year later. And the guy goes, well, you know, I'm doing this because I was pushed. So obviously it's a wife or a girlfriend or something. And the guy's apparently a lot younger than Joe, but he says he's not, like, Joe's in real good shape. The guy's not in shape. He thinks that, but regardless, can you imagine? I'm like, Joe, you got me scared a little bit. This guy's got some screws loose if he's gonna be, and then he's playing music way too loud, like obscenely loud, and I was like, well, do you know, we always talk about you can play music loud in the daytime, but it was actually it's lyrics, not good music, and it was, Joe was out working, and so Joe, you know, because it was obscenely loud apparently, like you could hear it full blast, like the length of like a football field or something, or more than that, which is obscene. It's ridiculous, even in the daytime. It was actually dinner time, but so Joe went over there to tell him, you know, he didn't want to do it, so you please keep it down. And the guy got all huffy. And he's like, I'm like, Joe, if I was watching this in a movie, I'd be scared for you because I'm watching Neighbors on Inside Edition and World of Sin, and it ends with death, it ends with tragedy, it escalates, more feud with your neighbor. Um, Joe's like, the guy's like, you get off my property, I can play this as loud as I want. So Joe's like, well, I'm gonna call the police. Then good, do it, go call the police. You've been a problem for me for a year. The guy hasn't talked to Joe, hasn't said more than two, like, he hasn't talked to him at all. So if this crazy man is saying you've been a problem with me for a year, the only thing I could think of, and Joe could think of it, whoever he's living with, a female, because he does live with a female, we just don't know who it is. We don't know who it is, relation, family member, wife, girlfriend, it could be something else, but whatever. Must have been pushing him all that time, because that's why he said, I've been pushed to come over here and apologize. So the guy it's been plaguing him. I don't want to go and apologize to Jill, but I go to, because she says I had, or whatever. Because if you haven't talked to someone in a year ever since, and Joe wasn't a jerk about the grass. He's like, yeah, I didn't want to wreck my mower or whatever. I'll clean it. You know, Joe was like, I'm sorry I did that. This guy got all huffy and was all jerk towards Joe, and then a year passes and he pretends to apologize. And then he says, you've been in a pain and in my ass for a year, and they've never talked for the whole year. It's ridiculous. I rightly said to Joe, like, Joe, this is scary. You've lived there a year and never said one, and he's never introduced himself. He doesn't even know his name, right? And Joe actually did call the police just to make inquiries, but he decided not to pursue it, you know, because again, it can escalate. And it's not worth it. And plus, the guy turned it off. Joe just wanted to turn it down a little bit because again, it's really loud and it's raunchy lyrics, and Joe doesn't like that, and he was out working on his house, but I'm trying to imagine how loud something has to be for Joe to hear it loud and clear and whatever when it's the length of a football field, the house is away from him. That's interesting to me, but in any case, I told him to be careful. This guy, if he's going to say you've been a pain in his ass for a year and you've done nothing, and doesn't haven't talked to him in a year since that incident with the grass on the road, that's someone who's got some screws loose. So anyhow, I was like, wow. He's on vacation. That's the only reason I was talking to him in the daytime. For that long, mind you, even for, he's on vacation. I've talked to him in the daytime before when I was going through hell with my mom or something. But for the most part, no, he's at work. And even if he's at work at home, he still he has a work ethic, and he's working, and he's not going to talk to me for any length of time. But today it was what, over 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 222 minutes. That's over 3.5 hours. Telling me his stories. The other story, since he's been on vacation, was innocently cleaning his shutter, and and he's up high on his ladder, like 6 feet high, and a bat flies into his face. So he fell off the ladder. He's okay, and I was like, was the bat ostracized from his buddies? Like, why is he in your shutter all alone? Bats are supposed to be with their other fellow bats in a not living by his lonesome, not all alone in Joe's shutter. Crazy country life. Bat living all alone in your shutter, unexpected, flies out into your face. So of course, it a lot worse. It's a bat. I mean, it could have blinded. It could have. It was headed. He was up cleaning his shutter, and a bat flies in his face. Of course, but he could have broken his back. He could have anything could happen. He's like, well, I'm real agile. All right, that wouldn't happen to me. I know how to fall. Yeah, well, still scares me, Joe. Weird shit, huh? Weird shit. Lots of weird shit happening. Last night's Sunset Edition is an otter that's on the most wanted list of otters. The otter has some problems. It's attacking people on surfboards, and stealing their surfboards, and biting into the. I saw it. It's crazy. Crazy fucking shit. Yeah. Homer to be my miracle dog and survive a few months ago, when I was positive, no doubt in my mind, he was dying, gonna die, about to die, and then he comes back to life, only to drop dead in front of me a few months later, like, and no explanation, and no, yeah, that is affecting me big time, big time, far, far beyond simple grief, heartbreak, mourning, loss, the whole 9 yards. It's just affected me way differently, even differently than if I had him euthanized.